Hello, Mixtresses and Mixters. This is Mixtress Ray. You're watching Mixtress video. So we're doing another pick-a-pile reading today because it is what is keeping me sane lately. So, accept it. Accept it. Accept the pick-a-pile reading into your heart. Okay. So today the theme for the decks that I chose is like gothic horror, kind of. So you have pile 1 is going to be Dark Angels Tarot. Pile 2 is going to be Tarot of Vampires. And pile 3 is Haunted House Tarot. Oracle decks that we will be using, we're going to use, like you can tell what it is by this bag, but we're going to be using Julie's JBG Oracle. Might as well just go ahead and take these out and have them ready to go. Gorgeous, gorgeous. We're going to be using Animal Apothecary. Gorgeous, gorgeous. Apparently I'm just going to say gorgeous over and over. Cool. We're going to be using Les Vampires, which I do not usually use for others. So this is going to be like a sort of like pull a card, read from the guidebook scenario with this one. So embrace the process. Unless you don't want to, in which case, go do whatever you want. Okay, of course. Everything has been, like today has been a day of like throwing things onto the floor, dropping things, all that shit. So get ready for it. Okay, you know what? I don't even need, okay, good. I already have lit my candle. This candle, oh my God, it's so fun. I like it, but it's burning quite quickly, probably because I've been using it for hours per day. Cool, that's fine. All right, let's start. Pile 1. Dark Angels. Let's do the oracle cards first. I'm already feeling sweaty, so I'm going to take this sweater off. Okay. Let's start with JBG Oracle, because this will get sort of, I don't have a specific question I'm asking for this pick-a-pile reading. Of course, if you have one, say it aloud or write it down or just think it in your head. But I think I'm going to let this, whatever oracle card we pick here, I'm going to let it, I think it's this one. I tried to deny it, but it's that one. I'm going to let the oracle card pick the theme of what we are talking about today with this reading. War. So we have this black bird on this side and a white bird on this side. We've got weapons, sort of the biohazard symbol here. She also has what looks to me like poppies in her hair. And she's an angel, but she has all this barbed wire around her. And there's an atomic bomb over here and all these like fighter jets or something over there. So, war. War is our theme. So who are you at war with? Are you at war with yourself? Are you at war with others? Let's get an Animal Apothecary card. Which this deck might look kind of funny next to the other ones that I chose, because this is a very, like, sweet, happiness, light, rainbow colors kind of deck. But whatever. I did what I did. I'm gonna go with it. Okay. Who are we at war with? Your own mind. Because we got the Get Out of Your Head card with a rooster here. So this is a call to, like, get grounded, right? Of course, I always use vintage wisdom. I might as well get it out. I didn't think I was going to, but if I don't, we're only going to have 3 oracle cards, and I want more than 3. Who are we? Who is pile 1 at war with? Who are you at war with? How are you going to get out of your head? Harmony. I got this in one of the pick-a-pile piles that I read yesterday. So I would encourage you to think of the things that you do with your time elementally. Like, for example, let's see, like, okay, what I'm doing right now could be considered a combination of several different elements. It's air in that it's an intellectual pursuit, reading cards for someone. It's an intellectual pursuit. It's spirit because of the psychic element to it. It's earth because I am actually like, I am connecting to physical items in order to do my reading, but it's not very much earth, you know? Like, I'm sitting here in my pajamas right now. I have not done anything physically active today. I've been recording podcasts for patrons and for my patrons. I've been doing pick-a-pile readings. Like, how can you, like, if you were to break up your activities that you do during a day into elements, I bet the element that you are missing is earth. Because this get out of your head card is a call to get grounded, and a way to ground yourself, like many different things, right? You could do some yoga. You could go for a walk. You could go to the gym. You could just put some pants on and leave the house. Maybe that's enough to get you grounded. Going on a drive or something like that. So this is kind of a call for myself as well. Kind of want this one. That one. Or to reconnect with something or someone in your life that you haven't connected to in a long time could be another way to get out of your head. Because the war is with your thoughts, right? And it's time to get those elements in balance, to harmonize them. Okay. I think we got it. We got it. Let's just go ahead and line them up. Got a little bit of glare on that one, but that's okay. Okay. We got 8 of Pentacles. King of Wands. Emperor. Hanged One reversed. Queen of Wands. and Knight of Swords. So it's time to get moving again. Your time of waiting for something to happen is over. And in order to, it's almost like I'm encouraging you to go to war. In order to harmonize yourself, and I'm thinking of this specifically as like rebalancing your elements. So in order for you to reharmonize your elements, to get out of your head, take your inner king and queen of wands, your inner king and queen of wands, and take them into battle. Let's see what we have with this one. Ancient, card number 4, Ancestry, Egypt, Magical Inheritance. And I will be reading from the guidebook with this card and that card, both. Again, I see her as sort of a warrior too. And she's going into battle by knowing her history, So this is a combination of things, right? Knowing your own history. When was the last time you were in the mental space that you're in now? What did you learn from it? What could you have learned from it? What do you know now that you didn't know then? Use those tools. And I'm specifically seeing the King and Queen of Wands here as being your tools to go into battle. And like, again, with the Emperor showing up is another kind of, let's see if I can make this better with the glare. Oh yeah, I can. Nice. Okay, cool. And yeah, also the Knight of Swords. Like, go into battle with yourself. Get into it. And it's going to be... I kind of hate when New Agey people say this word, but I'm going to say it anyway. Be embodied. Fill up the space that your body takes up. Inhabit yourself. Experience life. Let yourself be uncomfortable. For me, like, the world is a sensory nightmare, but sometimes you have to force yourself to be in it, right? So I think that's a good time to read about this Get Out of Your Head card. Chicken head. Get out of your head, chicken head. Oh, it's funny. Chicken head's medicine demands you get out of your head now because everything is going to work out. Okay, I'm just going to keep it at that, but I will show you in case you want to read this whole entry here. When you cut off a chicken's head, a burst of electricity runs through its body's nervous system, causing the chicken to run in circles and flap its wings. This is symbolic of the intrusive and obsessive thoughts we think and allow to run circles around us, even though they rarely hold any real basis in truth. Yeah, so like, in order to knock yourself out of those thoughts, you're going to have to get into your body. Dance, move, go for a walk. You're spending too much time sitting around thinking. That's just the entirety of this. It's going to take repetitive actions and work to get yourself into your body and out of your head. But once you start moving, it's going to be easy to stay moving. You've got that momentum of the Knight of Swords there. But it's time. You've spent enough time sort of in this hanged one space. You've done this for a long time. It's time to get moving. It's time to, put that behind you. You've meditated enough. You've thought it through enough. It's time to start acting. Okay, now let me consult the guidebook for Les Vampires. Card number 4 again, so reinforcing this Emperor energy, and then we have the War here, so it's a lot of airy shit, and it could be that this is also sort of like spring equinox shit. It's time to act. I'm getting that all over the place. Almost all the readings I've been doing for people right now is like, start moving, start going. We've got the King and Queen of Wands. We've got this Aries card here with the Emperor, and we've got this War card here, which is also very Emperor energy, right? So, okay. Let me read I'm going to read the blessing and the working with this card. And then I will also show you the guidebook shit too, so if you want to read it at your leisure. Blessing, family connections that lead you to greater knowledge of the self and of how to work with the family members you know. There will be information that comes to you at this time that may surprise or disappoint. Whatever the reaction, it is a gift to be able to know where you are from and from whom the raw matter, the very cells of your being, came. Working with this card. Tap into ancestral energy, for it has much to offer you at this time. Simply take time to meditate and see who comes to you. So there you go. If there is an ancestor or group of ancestors that you know you can call upon to help get you moving, somebody very embodied, somebody who was a dancer or an athlete, or, you know, I'm looking for someone dumb here. Not that dancers and athletes are dumb, but if you are looking to someone right now to be sort of your mentor in this particular, this spring, let's say, this spring, if you're looking for someone to look up to this spring, find someone in your life or someone in your family or someone in your ancestry that wasn't necessarily known for their intellect. They were known for their movement, whether that be a dancer, an athlete, someone who just, like my grandpa, he's a very earthy dude. He goes on walks every single day. And he's in his 80s. He's 87. He has been very active throughout his life, and it has served him well because he has stayed moving. And since he stayed in motion, he is still in motion, you know? He didn't stop, and you have stopped for a while. It's time to get back into your fire energy and your earth energy. And it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard work. But it's going to put you back in harmony with yourself. And it's almost like I encourage you to... So, okay. Last week, another example in my own life, I was having a very down day. And when Michael got home from work, I shared with him how I was feeling. And he basically demanded that I immediately go for a walk. He was like, go right now, go for a walk. And it was the best. I mean, obviously go for a walk. It's something that, like, you know you should be doing whenever you're in that state, but you don't fucking do it. And I knew that I should do it, but until he demanded that I do it, I didn't do it. But at that point I did. And I went on like a 30-minute walk by myself around a little playground track in my neighborhood. And it was exactly what I needed to be doing. And so I'm looking for that energy for you. Like, find a person in your life that will do that for you, or if you don't have that person in your life, do it for yourself. Like, literally, like, look at yourself in the mirror and be like, bitch, put on pants, go outside right now. Go outside. Go. I need to do this for myself, honestly. Okay, in case you want to read more about this particular ancient card, here's page 1. And here is page 2. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. I mean, it's just a very clear message for you guys. Get moving. Pile 2, Tarot of Vampires. Just going to set that aside and pull your oracle cards first. So we're going to decide, I think this is the time period we're looking at here, and it's probably already in the title. This is going to be like spring equinox pick-a-pile, I think. But I'm going to let Julie's oracle deck choose the subject for us today on your pile. Okay. I thought it was one of those, but okay, it's that one. Toxicity. Another angel. So this is more of a dark angel. And then we'll pull an animal apothecary card so you can get some animal energy. And this is like a pretty practical advice sort of deck. And it gives you an animal. Apparently I'm not ready to flip that one yet. And your lay vampire. So, where is toxicity showing up in your life? It's interesting, both pile 1. Didn't pile 1 have this symbol on it too? This little bio-waste symbol? I think it did. And I think it's from the same art series. It's like the angel of toxicity. So where is toxicity showing up in your life? Is it toxic positivity? Is it toxic people? We shall find out. I don't think I've used Tarot of Vampires this year, so I bet this one's in order. Yep. So I will need to shuffle this one a little extra so it doesn't have anyone's energy in it right now except yours. Right now. We're doing it. Meditate on the toxicity in your life. What's toxic? What is poisoning you? What is poisoning you? That's how I'm gonna phrase it. What's poisoning you in your life right now that you can let go of? We've got a new moon coming on Tuesday, give or take a day. Check your own calendar wherever you live. So we got a new moon coming. Alright, so we already got the 7 of Cups for you. I almost think the sort of what's poisoning you, it's almost like your answer is take your fucking pick. I got a toxic environment at work. I got a toxic environment at home. I've got a toxic environment inside my own head. Like, I'm almost getting a vibe of like total overhaul from you right now. Just based on these 2 cards that are flipped over so far. That's a lot. If that is what you're going through, I'm sorry. That's a lot. Okay, this one too. I think we're going to stop there and we'll see if we need another card, but I think right now we're not going to need another card. It's always agonizing to watch myself do this. I try to straighten the cards and fail miserably. Because of the way that I have to set up my tripod makes it look in person like all the cards are crooked. So I have to try to... Anyway, whatever. That's what I do. I just complain about things that other YouTubers just do without saying. Immense growth. And we have a... Is this a turkey vulture? Maybe. Card number 15. Discipline. Training, consistency, and practice. Nature. So, what's toxic for you is being stagnant indoors. What's toxic for you is spending a lot of time thinking about all the possibilities of life instead of actually engaging with it, which is a very similar vibe to pile 1. Prince of Skulls. Nine of Scepters. Six of Grails. And 4 of Knives. So you did get a representation of all 4 elements here, no major arcana. So it's more like the drudgery of daily life right now. I wonder if the toxicity is too much discipline. I think that's what I want to get an answer to. Because the fact that we have the 4 of Knives here suggests that, and the 9 of Scepters suggests that it might be time for a break. You might be working too hard already. I need to know, is the toxicity too little discipline or too much? So that's going to be Lord of Grails. I mean, the Lord of Grails is a very daydreamy creature, right? I know it might be wrong, but I see the Lord in this deck as the Knight and the Prince as the King. I can't remember if this particular deck thinks that's right or wrong, since it is a Thothier deck. But anybody on a fucking horse is a knight to me, and that's just how I interpret it, so, you know, take that with a grain of salt if that doesn't make sense for you. That is how I'm going to see this. So, the Knight of Cups is a very daydreamy individual, and they are a person of action, right? And they have cut off the head of this creature too, sort of, because we have a Gorgon-looking head here. And a Gorgon-looking head here. That doesn't really answer my question, though. It almost... I think that's just because we're being pulled in two different directions because of this reading being for multiple people, of course. Which is always the confusion that you have to go in knowing will present itself with a pick-a-pile reading. Both as the person reading and the person being read. So, you'll know. Do you have too much discipline in your life or too little? If you need to take a day off, a Four of Swords day, please take it. Take care of yourself. But if you've been taking too many of these days, it's time to engage. It's time to engage. Let's read about your bright fucking yellow card. It's just like blinding on the screen right now. Number 15. Immense growth with Vulture. Vulture's medicine asks you to understand that pain, suffering, and trauma hold an energetic power. It is your choice whether to allow that power to attack you or to transmute its energy into your greatest asset. If you choose the latter, within you a hidden gift will be revealed, far greater than all your pain. So that almost suggests to me that the toxicity in your life is the avoidance of pain. So what are you doing that is avoiding pain? Here is your Vulture information if you want it. How are you avoiding pain? Because it's the avoidance of pain is preventing your wounds from healing. You've got to like see it through to actually, because if you are distracting yourself with self-medication, that could be another thing that's poisoning you. If you are overindulging in drugs or alcohol or any other toxic behaviors, you know what your vice is. If you've been overindulging in your vices in this life, then you're just putting off the inevitable. That pain's going to come get you at some point. That wound needs to heal, whether you choose to do so now or in 6 months. And it's going to, like, that wound's going to fester if you don't let it heal now. You know? Just go ahead and do it. And this might involve, maybe this is like in order to to face the pain and have the discipline to face your pain, to cut the poison out of your life. Cut the poison out of your life, face the pain with some discipline. It's going to involve engaging with nature. Absolutely. It's going to involve accepting the love that's being offered to you. I mean, this card in particular does not look like anyone's offering you love. It looks very violent. And maybe that's the way that you see it right now. Maybe wherever it is in your life, whoever your Knight of Cups is that's offering you love right now, you're viewing it as pain. But I think it's time to engage with that pain. In order to have a connection with someone, you're going to have to be willing to engage with some discomfort. And that's kind of what that is. Being in nature is not always comfortable. Discipline's not comfortable. You know, avoiding whatever your self-numbing behaviors are is not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be comfortable. You might even have to confront some issues from your childhood. I'm almost seeing like the combination of these cards in order to... So yes, do take the mental health day, but it's not about avoiding work. It's about taking that day to really dive into what's going on in your psyche right now. Because there's some big shit. Maybe this is the end of your path, actually. Maybe the end of your path is actually getting to a point where you can daydream about, not the end of your path, but the end of the spring, let's say. Let's say this is a spring card. Spring reading. So if this is a spring reading, this is the end of spring. At the end of spring, you'll finally be at a point where you can do the spells again. You can engage with you can become one with your snaky self in this deck, because the sevens in this deck are about becoming one with the animal totem of that particular suit. So at this point, she is becoming the snake woman. She's becoming the Gargon. She is at a point where she's about to move on, finally, because we see this little pathway too in the background. Like at any moment, she's going to be done with her blood spell here. And she's going to turn around and walk down that path towards the light, towards that glowing light. So yeah, I think you're going to have to face some pain. You're going to have to stop poisoning yourself, go outside, and face the pain. And some of that pain is going to actually be love. It's like you're seeing it as pain because you aren't ready to feel anything right now. You don't want to feel anything, which is why you've been poisoning yourself. I'm sorry, guys. That's hard. That's hard. I wish you guys could smell. I wish you guys could smell my beautiful, beautiful bag that Wendy made for me. Okay. Because I scented it. It smells delicious. Okay, pile 3. Haunted House Tarot. Also, probably in order. Yes, it is. Okay. Haven't used it yet this year. Just rescued it from purgatory, too. So, this is kind of going to be a test. I love these backs. I love these backs. And I don't hate this deck, but there's a lot of issues with it that I cannot get on board with. So, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. This is not about whether or not I like this deck. This is about you. Pile 3. What we want to know today is, well, first, let's figure out what question to ask, because I've been using Julie's JBG Oracle to kind of set the tone for each of these readings. So, what are we talking about? Spirits that haunt this house, tell me, what was we talking about? Oh my god, that is hilarious. pile 2 had this same image. So, just an acknowledgement. If you're still around and you've already watched pile 2, ask yourself, is this pile for you too? Were you just too lazy to shut the video off? Or are you just watching it because you like me? Thank you. Practice. And that seems to be like something that's showing up in all 3 of these piles, just the general idea of it's going to take work. It's going to take work for us to get where we want to go, but we're going to have the energy this spring, you guys. There's some shit in the air. There's energy. It's like we're finally going to be able to make some changes that we've wanted to make for a long time. We're going to be able to actually start on the path of making those changes. I really do. I really think so. For some reason I'm pulling the tarot for you guys first when I've been pulling the oracle first for the other piles. Okay, yep. Okay. Probably can't actually put them this high up, but I'm trying to get it out of the glare. Okay, let's pull an animal apothecary card for you. Okay, what needs, I guess, how can we form this into a question for you guys, this practice card, since that's going to be the focus of our reading here. What needs more practice? What is your practice makes perfect situation? Okay, I got the answer already. You need to practice setting better boundaries in your life. Sacred and otherwise. But what makes a boundary sacred? Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. What boundaries need to be set? And the fact that we're getting practice with this too is, like, it's going to take practice. Like, you can't just set a boundary and, like, maybe there are people in your life, like family members that are going to be around. They're going to be around no matter what. And you are, for now, choosing not to cut them out of your life. But if you're setting a boundary with them, maybe they're not used to boundaries. Maybe, yeah, maybe they're not used to boundaries. Maybe you're going to have to reset those boundaries with them. You're going to have to repeat the same boundaries over and over with that person because they're not accepting it right away. And we got resurrection, reprise, recovery, and comeback. Lots of black cats. We've got 4 in this card and 1 in that one. And then we need a vintage wisdom card. What time is it? 2:45. Okay, so how can we practice makes perfect, set boundaries for ourselves? Yeah, and like this resurrection, reprise, recovery, comeback, it's like a boundary it's almost like a boundary you've already set, but you need to like restate that boundary. Either restate that boundary for yourself, maybe it's a boundary that, maybe you've made some rules for yourself in your life, and you've been breaking those rules lately, and it's time to reset those those sacred boundaries. Or maybe it's an actual like boundary that you need to set with another person, actually. Either way. So our vintage wisdom card is intention. Yeah, like, so use this spring equinox. The spring equinox is on Monday, the 20th of March, if you're watching this in real time in 2023. But any time is good to reset an intention, right? Anytime. Use this new moon that's coming up on Tuesday, the 21st. Use the new moon to set some intentions. Boundaries. Like I'm getting the vibe that it's a good time for magic right now. Good time for rituals. Good time for spells, magic, rituals, enchantments, all of that. I'm actually even going to pull an extra tarot card for you right now. I feel like that's needs to happen. So do some spells surrounding, in particular, boundaries, sacred boundaries, intentions. Be very clear with the universe about what you want. Be very clear with the people in your life about what you want, what you expect, how you expect to be treated. Demand respect. This is the time for it. So you got 4 of Pentacles, Moon, no, Star, sorry. Two of Cups, Devil, Knight of Wands. I think this looks like David Duchovny. I love the colors in this card and the bats and everything. And then the World. So this particular deck, the Major Arcana in particular, I mean really the whole deck follows this one figure. She's here, and she's there. And we're following her through her experiences, particularly in the Major Arcana, in a haunted house. You know, it's a narrative. This deck has a narrative to it. And because your last card is the World, we see her offering you the key. Like she has gone through and she's mastered the horrors of the haunted house, and now she's handing you the key and inviting you to go forth and have the experiences that she just had. She went through all the horrors, she mastered them, and now she's passing along the key. She knows that you need to go through it too. You need to go through that doorway and have all of those horrors happen to you as well. In a more practical sense, we could be dealing with boundaries surrounding addictive behaviors, boundaries surrounding relationships, because you've been to a place that you don't want to come back to. So you got reprise, recovery, and comeback. Okay, I'm almost getting a feeling that you have gone back to an old relationship, an old boyfriend, girlfriend, other friend that you know is not right for you. And some of those same patterns, if your question for this reading is, should I go back to this person? Are the same patterns going to reemerge with this person? I think, unfortunately, the answer is probably yes. You're probably going to get in the same situation with this person. Unfortunately. Because that person is not changing. You're changing, that person is not. That's what I see here, anyway. Or it might be the other way around. Like if you haven't really evolved and you're kind of still stuck in this box being a little voodoo doll, which is not normally how I see the Four of Pentacles, but it's how I'm looking at it right now. If you're sort of stuck in the box and you're not you're not evolving, that person has evolved, or vice versa. Sometimes, when you find your soulmates in this life, sometimes they are only soulmates for a time. That's a thing. It happens. And that's okay. It's okay to move on from them. It's okay to restate those boundaries. If you've already broken your chains to that person and you have recently started opening up the communication with them again, it's okay to shut it down. It's not too late. Because you're done, If we are dealing with a relationship in this scenario, you are done. You have been there, done that. It's not necessarily like, do you want to resurrect this? Ask yourself what you do want to resurrect and what you don't, and set very clear intentions and boundaries surrounding that. So if you choose to go forward in a relationship that didn't work before, you need to go into it with very clear boundaries and intentions in order for it to go any differently this time. I don't see it going differently, but if you choose to do it anyway, be clear with them and yourself, with yourself on what you're going to, both be clear about what you're going to tolerate. Like, bring up the old shit. Be like, I'm not bringing this up because I'm harping on it, but I'm bringing it up because I will not tolerate this again. Remember when this happened? Not going to happen again, because if it does, we're done. Let me read from your Animal Apothecary, card number 43. Tiger Palm. I think it's just like tiger and palm. The medicine of sacred boundaries. Tigers are masters of their territory. Let's see, where does it say? Boundaries do not apply only to behavior from others, but also the way we treat ourselves. Do you have guidelines for the food you put in your body, the people you create relationships with, the words you say, and the topics you discuss? Tiger Palm's medicine raises its hand in your spread when you are also being asked to level up the energy you allow into your life. Start scanning what behaviors you hold that do not align with, I treat my body, mind, and spirit like a sacred temple. Tiger Palm's medicine directs you to set boundaries with not only others, but yourself. Yeah, so be very clear with yourself on what you're going to tolerate. This is like kind of a weird example, but anytime I'm reminded of something in my own life in these readings, I have to say it out loud just in case it helps you guys. So right before I started dating the person that I'm still with, that I married almost 12 years ago. No, almost 13 years ago. I can't do math. 2010. We got married in 2010. At the end of this year, it will be 13 years. Right before I first started dating him, I had just moved out on my own after a weird relationship, and a lot of this kind of bullshit was happening in my life. A lot of devil bullshit was happening in my life. And I made a list in my journal of boyfriend requirements. Everything that I wanted in a future partner. And Michael showed back up in my life again. We'd gone to high school together. We were close friends in high school. And he had moved back to the town that I live in. Moved back to town. And I became aware that he was back in town. And anyway, we started dating again like within a month or two after me making that boyfriend requirements list. And he checked every box. Because I stated my intentions and declared my boundaries with the world. I said, this is what I expect from my next boyfriend. And it happened. It came to fruition. Do that for yourself. Okay, in case you want to read more about your card, here's page 1, and then 2 and 3. And then also I'm going to look up this resurrection card, number 44. And both of these cards, card 43 in this deck, card 44 in that deck, it's towards the very end of these particular oracle decks as well. So I think you're just like, you're at the end of this particular cycle of resurrection. If this is a situation where you're taking someone back for like, you know, the third time. Yeah, this is the last card in this deck. Taking someone back. Is it the last card in the other deck too? I don't think so. Let me see. No. There are 44 cards in both of these decks. So this one's 43, that one's 44. If you have taken someone back several times and you're on the verge of doing it again, or you've just done it again, you're at the end of your cycles with this person, I think. Either you're going to finally set boundaries in a successful way and you will actually be able to move forward as equals, or you're going to realize, I'm done with this person. I am fucking done. Let's see what this resurrection card has to say. I'm going to read the blessing and the working with this card. Blessing, this change can be made and swiftly. Ask for assistance and it will be yours. Let go now and move swiftly through the transition. Working with this card. It is time to make things happen for yourself. It is time to actively explore what you have always denied yourself the chance to do. For there is a path clearing before you, but it requires an enormous amount of determination on your behalf. You must remake yourself. Look within and see what has less than satisfied you. And know that something that you thought was over, done with and decided, is truly about to surprise you. So this card is kind of disagreeing with everything that I just said, but you know which applies to you. You know if this situation, this comeback, reprise, resurrection situation is going to surprise you in a good way, or if it's just going to be the way that it always has been. You know which. And here's that in case you want it. Yeah. I think, in order for you to truly heal this relationship with yourself or whoever else it is, you're going to have to, keep practicing at setting those intentions and boundaries because it's important. Don't give up just because those intentions and boundaries have maybe failed before. Maybe you just need to come at them a different way. Maybe you need to restate them. Just keep trying. It's worth it because you are entering the end of this cycle where everything's finally going to click into place. I'm also seeing this, if I were to apply this reading to myself, I keep trying to find my soulmate in a tarot deck. I mean, that's not the way I think of it literally, but it's almost like that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to find the perfect tarot deck. And I've found so many that I love. And I keep trying to set better rules with myself about what I will and won't take into my life. I mean, this is just a silly example, but I have all these rules for myself. No Kickstarter, no pre-orders, no rose petal finish, no decks that cost more than $40. I have all these rules for myself because that is what works best for me. Those are the boundaries and intentions that I have set for myself. But every once in a while I fucking break those rules. And I have to be willing to get back on the path to restate my boundaries and intentions, to adjust my boundaries and intentions as circumstances in my life change. Because if I ever start truly making money at being a tarot reader, if I ever truly start making money at that, I'm not going to have that no decks costing more than $40 rule anymore. I won't have to because I'll be able to afford more expensive decks. But for now, that has to be a rule that I most of the time follow. But whatever rules and boundaries that you set for yourself, sometimes they are going to fail. And that's okay. Just make sure you're always being not only forgiving yourself for those missteps, because sometimes our freaking lizard brain takes over. Sometimes our lizard brain takes over and we pre-order a deck, for example. This is transitioning into like a kind of a personal thing. So might as well. Okay, so I'm done with pile 3, but story time. Story time from me as I put my decks away. So if you are here for it, hang around. If not, thank you for watching. Okay, obviously I was getting personal there. I am going to put everything away now as I babble with you guys. So I did in the last week pre-order. I broke so many of my own rules, guys. I pre-ordered a deck. It was more than $40, $60, including shipping, technically. And it has rose petal finish. I hate rose petal finish. And another sort of like, it's storming outside right now too, guys, just so if you hear that, that's what it is. I always like to explain sounds. So there's that. And I kind of broke another rule for myself too, all with the purchase of this one deck, which is, it's a different version of a deck that I've had before, so it's not the exact same deck that I've had before, but almost. It's a different version. So I generally have a rule to respect my past self. Whenever I've gotten rid of a deck, I don't get it again. But this is a deck that I actually kind of regret letting go of. I think I stress culled it. I think it wasn't actually... I spend more time now with whenever I let go of a deck. I don't do it when I'm stressed and overwhelmed. I do it when I know I'm ready to let it go. When it's been in, the purgatory, the overnight vag, the giveaway box, whatever you call it, when it's been there for a long enough time that I truly feel like it's time. But at the time that I got rid of this particular deck, it hadn't been there long enough. And I miss it. It was a deck I had had for years, and it's actually, like, talk about main decks, mood decks. I mean, it's definitely a mood deck, but I can actually, like, in my brain, go through this deck and remember almost every single image. So it's a deck I know very well. It's a deck that I had for like 3 or 4 years before I let it go, and I regret letting it go. And there's a new version of it coming out. Like, I'm being coy. It's Shadow Moonchild by Danielle Noel. It's coming out spring 2023. And I pre-ordered it. So, no, number 1, pre-order. It's fucking rose petal finish, which I hate. And, just getting my piles ready to take them back to the shelf. So it's a pre-order. It's rose petal finish. It cost me $60. I mean, it's really not bad for an independently produced deck, because that's including shipping. That's really not that bad. And I love Danielle Noel's artwork. I've had so many of her fucking decks. Oh my god, I've had so many of them. So I am not going to let myself spiral with guilt, because that's one of my problems, is I guilt spiral whenever I do things like this. I'm not going to let myself do it, even though I broke some of my rules in order to acquire this deck. I did. I broke some of my rules. But it's okay to reset those boundaries, to reset those intentions, because every once in a while, you're going to break your fucking rules. It's going to happen. Every once in a while, it's going to happen. And it's important to forgive yourself when that does happen. Anyway, that's all I got. Thank you guys for watching.